Hey, my friend Heather Chesky here. I am so excited to be walking you through the booked photographer system in this video. So if you are a portrait photographer or a burnt out wedding photographer, you'll definitely want to keep on listening. I'm going to share with you how I went from unexpectedly laid off to a full-time photographer and more than doubling my income within 12 months of losing my job. And this is while I'm a mom, a homeschooling mom of 3. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 4-part process of the booked photographer system. Here's a quick little overview, and we're going to talk about each one of these steps more thoroughly in this video. But part number 1 is perfect client match. Part number 2 is the $1,000 plus portrait sales system. Part number 3 is the booking burst funnels. And then part number 4 is systemize and scale. Those are the 4 parts that make up the booked photographer system. And that will also help you get more ideal bookings. So after watching this video, you're going to have a lot more clarity around how to build and scale a profitable and fully booked photography business that allows you to keep your faith and your family first. That is so important for me personally, and I know it's important for you too. You're going to also have clarity around how to earn consistent 5 to 10K every single month while working part-time, because chances are you're a busy parent or you want to become a parent or you have other things going on, and those other things in life are a priority. You're going to also learn how to attract quality clients instead of chasing down anybody who will book you. You're going to learn how to achieve $1,000 plus and beyond sales from one portrait client. I'm also going to show you how to leverage your audience and book out your calendar. And also too, you're going to have clarity around how to avoid overwhelm and burnout so that you can truly build a thriving photography business that's actually fun and profitable and doesn't suck life out of you. So right now, you might not be experiencing enough quality leads. Maybe you're having a hard time attracting those quality leads. And if that's you, we're going to go ahead and fix that with the perfect client match model. If right now you're tired of cheap or discounted sessions, we're going to fix that with the $1,000 plus portrait sales system. If right now you're experiencing a lot of inconsistency when it comes to your bookings, maybe it's great some months and then a total dud other months, we're going to actually fix that with our booking burst funnels. Or if you are overworked or overwhelmed, we're going to fix that with our systemize and scale process. So if any of this feels like, hey, that's like right where I'm at, or if it's something that you want to do, then this video is for you. So let's dive in and start talking about that first part of the process, the 4-part process, which is the perfect client match. Now, personally, for me, I hate chasing down leads and trying to convince them to book me. And at the same time, it's also not fun working with people who truly just don't value you as a photographer, don't value what you put into your work, or are constantly asking for discounts. That's no fun at all. So for me personally, when I started my photography business, I needed to come up with a way to connect with the prospects that would actually help me stand out from the competition. And also my prospects would see the value of what I offer. They would see the value in my photography, and they're happy to pay for me, not go somewhere else, but they're happy to pay more, oftentimes a lot more for me versus somebody else. And this is where the perfect match model comes into place. So we want to think of your perfect clients are like the missing puzzle piece to your business. And when we put them together, when we learn how to communicate and how to attract them, there's going to be that perfect blend. So what we have to realize, and you know this already, that every business, every photography business needs clients. If you do not have clients, or if you don't have enough of the perfect clients, you really don't have a business. Rather, you have an expensive hobby. You have to have those clients coming in the door. You have to have that income coming in the door in order to keep things operational. And to take it a little bit further, I'd like to say that not all clients are created equally. So, for example, perhaps right now you might have clients, you might have bookings, but perhaps you're doing sessions for free or you're doing them at a highly discounted rate. And that's just, getting old or tiresome. So, our focus here is to not simply focus on the quantity of clients, but rather the quality of clients. Again, we're after the perfect clients, the ideal clients for your business. And the way that you do this is by doing these 3 things. You can attract more quality clients, more of the perfect clients, by shifting how you communicate with them, by shifting how you connect with them, and then also by teaching them. So I want to take a few minutes and talk about each one of these a little bit more thoroughly, but let's start with communicate. So in order to attract your perfect clients, you have to understand where they're at in the season that you'll be photographing them. You have to understand their needs, their wants, their desires, their reservations as it relates to being hired by you as a photographer. When you understand where they're at right now, it will actually shift how you communicate with them. So it's going to shift your marketing from more being self-focused of like, hey, book me, I'm doing this session, or mini sessions here, or a discount there. It shifts your focus from being self-centered to more them focused. You can then start to market your more business in a way of like, hey, like I know you're at this season in life, or maybe I know you're struggling with X, Y, and Z. Here is how working with me, here's how my experience helps you overcome your struggles, or helps you overcome your reservations, or it helps you get what you want. So it just shifts how you communicate with them, so you can show them, hey, how what you do as a photographer really helps get them what they want in life. Next, we want to go ahead and connect with your clients, your perfect clients. So the photography industry is so saturated. That's not new to you at all. So the photographer who can connect with her audience the best will get the booking. And the best way to connect with your audience is through stories. Now I'm talking about your stories and also your clients' stories. Okay, so first of all, your stories are unique to you. So we know that there's dozens or maybe hundreds of photographers in your local area, but nobody can replicate your story. Nobody can replicate why you are a photographer, what got you started in this business, or what, keeps you motivated in it. So your story is so important because it's different than everybody else's. Also, too, your client stories are super important too. When you share your client stories, it actually overcomes objections of future clients and encourages them to take actions. So when you can connect with your audience via stories, you're going to sell more of your stuff. And a quick little story here, this is actually how I was able to sell out my senior model program and many senior sessions year after year. It was because I connected with my seniors via story. I actually shared a lot of the things that I struggled with when I was my senior's age. When I was, 17, 18 years old, I shared a lot of the struggles, a lot of the things that I went through, and I was open about that. And it was those stories that connected me with my current and my past seniors that built that trust, and they wanted me to photograph them. The third thing you have to do in order to attract more of those perfect clients is to teach them. So here, you're the expert here. Your clients are looking to you for advice and insight. They are not professional photographers. Most of the time, they're not professional photographers. They don't know what they don't know. This is where you get to come alongside them. You get to guide them. You get to teach them and the things that are most appropriate. So obviously, this is going to vary depending on the niche that you photograph. Basically what you teach depends on your area of expertise, but with simple things of like how to best prepare for your sessions, or how to display your photos, or the best outfits for a particular body type, or how to mix and match family or outfits for family photos. Any one of those things would be relevant in this area where you're helping teach your client, you're helping overcome that frustration of like, oh my goodness, I just don't know how to do this. You're showing up, you're being the expert, and you're guiding them in that process. When you're doing this, it also builds more trust. This is actually how I was able to book a branding session, not just any branding session, but a branding session who booked me, flew me out to Hawaii, and I live on the East Coast. I live in Virginia, so on the East Coast of the United States. But this particular client, Kristen, decided to book me, fly me out to Hawaii for her branding session. And that's because I was adamant about teaching about how to use brand photos in your business and the benefits of it and why you need them. And she saw that it definitely resonated with her, and she chose to book me versus the dozens and hundreds of other very talented photographers out in Hawaii. She chose to book me, pay more for me because she was paying travel fees, and flew me out to Hawaii for her session. So when you can successfully communicate, connect, and teach your prospects, that turns them into their perfect clients. So we have a couple of testimonials here from current and past students of mine who just shared the increase of confidence that they have. So this is Jessica. When she learned how to effectively communicate with her audience, her confidence increased, and as a result, she got more bookings. This is a testimony from Tiffany. She was able to book 7 sessions and nearly 3 weddings. It was 2, but almost 3 weddings in a matter of 2 weeks. Simply how she communicated differently during her Facebook lives that she was marketing with. She shifted how she was approaching those, and that resulted in more bookings in her business. Kenny here, he says, I'm on a bit of a high. He had 3 consults and actually got every single one of those to book sessions because he was learning how to communicate with those prospects. And so as soon as he spoke with them on the phone, they had no reservations. They immediately booked him and paid him for that session. So that's the kind of impact that really nailing this down in your business can have. So let's go ahead and move on to part number 2, which is the $1,000 plus portrait sales system. So once you have your perfect client match dialed in, the next step is to price your photography for them. You really want to craft a photography offer that's enticing to them. And honestly, at this point in time, you have one of 2 choices. You have the shoot and burn model, which basically means you have a session fee. It's anywhere from $100 to $500. And within that session fee, you're including all of the digital images within that. So you might be spending hours editing and providing 60, 75, maybe over 100 images that you deliver via an online gallery. Perhaps your clients can order products through an online gallery as well, but you don't ever really bank on that. And the problem with this model is that it actually caps your sell. And then also too, it can overwhelm your clients because you're literally sending them so many photos that's going to be so overwhelming for them. They're not going to know what to do. This kind of model, the shoot and burn model, in essence means that you need to be high volume in order to create consistent income in your business versus the $1,000 plus portrait sales system. What this means is that you're still charging $100 to $500 for an upfront session fee or a retainer fee, but that fee does not include any digital images whatsoever. What you do instead is that you meet them for the session. You take their photos and then you meet them again for an ordering appointment. At that ordering appointment, you reveal those images to them and they have the option to purchase digitals, to purchase albums or wall art or canvases or prints. They can purchase those things additionally. And that's what it leads to sales of over $1,000. This model right here will help you stand out from all the other photographers because you're going to have unique products. You're going to be a full service product or a full service photographer, excuse me, where you actually go from start to finish. You're going to give them a fully ready product that they can display in their home. And this actually leads to sales of way beyond $1,000. My sales have, been, $4, $5, $6,000. I even implement same day viewings or SDVs as I call them, where I literally meet my clients the same day I photograph them and show them their images. And that results in way high sales and super happy clients because they're getting that personalized touch. So I want you to think about this for a second. Let's just say your goal is to make $5,000 every single month. You have 2 ways that you can do that. The first way is to charge $250 per session and include all the digital images. So this means you would actually have to photograph 20 clients in order to earn $5,000. Option 2 would be to do IPS or the $1,000 plus portrait sales. This means where you're charging $250 still to book in a client, but instead of including all the digitals, you're providing them the opportunity to purchase wall art, albums, prints, and digitals, and you're getting sales of over $1,000. This means that you might be making sales of, $1,250 per client when you add in that session fee. And that means you only really need to book in 4 clients every single month to meet your $5,000 a month goal. Now, to be totally honest, you can make $5,000 doing it either way. Okay. There's some photographers who really love doing, the high volume and being super, super, super busy. But I want you to think for a moment. The real question is what would you enjoy the most? Would you enjoy finding, booking, photographing, managing 20 plus clients every single month? Would that option give you the time or the flexibility to prioritize your faith, your family, your marriage, your children? Which of these two options would help you prevent burnout and would be truly sustainable over the long term? Personally, I chose the $1,000 plus portrait sales system, and that's how I've been able to gross 20K month after month after month within my photography business while also being a homeschool mom, because I'm not chasing volume, I'm chasing quality, and I'm spending more time with my clients, and I'm thereby increasing my average sale per client. This is a great testimonial from Jill, who the very first time she went to do in IPS or to do the $1,000 plus portrait sales, she actually made $1,800 from her very first client, which is awesome. Now, the $1,000 plus portrait sales system has three key parts. They are: first, you want to optimize your price and product menu. Second, you want to educate your clients and prepare them for what to expect. And third, you want to have that non-sleazy sales communication process. And all of those work together to where you won't be feeling sleazy about your sales, because you're being very upfront with your clients. It's not a bait and switch. They know what to expect. You'll be able to confidently communicate those prices to your clients, especially if you're using our chat mats. And finally, you're getting paid what you're worth, and your family can actually depend on your income as a photographer. I love this testimonial from Heidi. Heidi is actually a single mom who was really struggling with photography. She was charging just a few $100s for her sessions, and her sessions are gorgeous, but she went ahead and shifted gears to the $1,000 plus portrait systems model, and she has been able to gross 5-figure months. And here she's saying $11,170. She was able to gross over 10K in her photography business as a single mom. It had been going like this month after month after month within her business, that she was able to treat her kids to a fun getaway because her business was thriving. And also because she wasn't high volume, she was actually still able to dedicate time to her children, which is just beautiful. I don't know what other position that a mom could have or dad could have who could prioritize family and still make 5 figures every single month. So it's amazing. But let's go ahead and move on to the booking burst funnels, because it's one thing to say, all right, yeah, I would love to make $1,000 or more per client, but how do I actually find those clients? The answer is by using one of our booking burst funnels. So at this point in the time, you created an irresistible photography offer for your perfect client, and it's now time to fill your calendar with paying clients using one of our booking burst funnels. Okay, and the booking burst funnels has 3 different parts to it. So you can leverage your hot audience right here, your warm audience, or your cold audience. All of them will help you fill your calendar. Your hot audience includes all of your past clients and inquiries. These are the people who have already paid you for a previous session, or they've already expressed interest in booking you, and they are by far the easiest to rebook in for a session. Hence, Flora's testimonial right here, she basically followed one of the questions. I actually blacked it out right here, but she followed one of the questions that's part of this funnel, and she said she already has 15 projects lined up with her asking price because of one simple message that she leveraged to a past client. Next up is your warm audience. Now, your warm audience includes your social media following or any of your organic methods. Now, there's a lot that goes into how you show up online, how you do SEO, or how you do Facebook group maybe, or your Instagram posting, your schedule, your reels. All of that plays into this. So your warm audience, leveraging that is a big topic. But with Erin, when she followed one of our warm audience funnels, it drastically increased her engagement, and she got a booking within 24 hours when you know what you're doing, when you know how to communicate, and you have that solid process for utilizing your warm audience. The third funnel is to leverage paid advertising to book in cold leads, or your cold audience. These are the people who have zero connection to you. They've never heard about you before. They've never heard of your name. They have no connection to you whatsoever. This is actually where we teach and where we use a simple $10 a day Facebook or Instagram strategy. You can actually apply it to both, but this is an easy ad strategy that you can apply or implement in your business to book in cold leads. Shiley here, she says that she started using Facebook ads, and this is the first time she's ever been booked solid, which is amazing. When you can leverage that cold audience, when you can leverage ads, it actually is amazing because you ads are working for you while you're off photographing a session, or while you're taking a nap, or while you're hanging out with your kids. Your ads are still working for you. So this is really the cream of the crop, the most amazing part. Matt here, he says that he he started doing with ads 1 week ago, and he booked 7 portrait clients. So in 7 days, Matt booked 7 portrait clients. And I also like to include this testimonial here too. This is Sarah. And I'm not talking about finding cheapo or, not really ideal clients on Facebook. We want quality clients off of Facebook. Sarah here did our $10 a day ad strategy as well. And she made $2,650 from just one of her leads. So that's amazing. That's the kind of results that can happen from utilizing our ad strategy. So those are a brief overview of the booking burst funnels. Now let's go ahead and talk about the fourth part of this process, which is systemize and scale. Now, the entire point of starting a photography business is to become like your own boss. It is to have that freedom, the freedom to create your own schedule, the freedom to earn more income, the freedom to put your family first. But somewhere along the way, we can get caught up in all the hats that we wear as photography business owners. We can get caught up and stay up really early in the morning till 3 a.m. editing, and we can neglect our sleep. We can miss out on our children's sporting events because we have sessions to photograph or weddings to attend. We can be physically around, but not really present because our minds are elsewhere. They're racing with all the things that we need to do to catch up in business, or to respond, or all the editing that we need to feel like we must be, at our computer, or marketing our business, so that we're just like on the go constantly. I personally fell into this trap many years ago. In fact, it was actually just after my second son was born. About 2 weeks later, after his birth, I was out photographing a wedding, which is just stupid, but that's what I did. And in the first 2 months of my second son's life, I actually had 17 other sessions, portrait sessions. These were primarily senior sessions booked, plus more weddings. And it was insane. At that time, I built a really a thriving photography business. It was very prosperous. But here's the thing, I was miserable. Everything depended on me. I felt like I couldn't take a break. I couldn't step away, or things would fall apart. I felt trapped in my business, and I actually started to resent this photography business that I had worked so hard to create. And it was in that season that it became really clear that I needed to make a change. And that's when I got really intentional about refining and implementing my systems, workflows, and DAD. So let's talk about those. Systems are the larger activities that you do to run your business. And they also include like your softwares that you use. Systems are important because they allow for better organization. They allow you to streamline your tasks and ultimately save you time. Workflows are also really important. They are a sequence of steps that are taken in order to ensure that our project is completed smoothly and correctly. So think of like a checklist. Workflows help with efficiency and consistency. And then once you have the systems and the workflows nailed down, then you can shift gears and focus on DAD. So DAD stands for delete, automate, or delegate. So this means that once you know your system, once you have that workflow, you might find that, okay, you know what, I'm being redundant here. I can actually delete this whole part. I don't have to do this anymore. Or you might find hey, I'm redoing this task over and over and over again. Maybe I can automate it. Or you choose the delegate. Maybe we know as photographers and as business owners, just because something has to get done doesn't mean it has to get done by you. So you can outsource it or delegate it to someone else to do. When you actually utilize this, when you go through the DAD process, you refine your overall system, and that enables you to scale. So let's just go ahead and do a quick example of editing. I chose editing because this is one of the first things that I did in my business. But we have that whole system of how we edit. We use our softwares of choice, and then also maybe the time frame that you edit. So those are the big things that you have to get done as a photographer. You have to edit. There's no way around that. Your workflow in editing might be in terms of okay, your process for how you do it, how you download things. Do you download it into Photo Mechanic, or do you download it into Lightroom or Photoshop? Or how do you rename your images? What's your process for culling? How do you go through and edit? Do you use presets? How do you manage all of that? That would be part of the workflow, and to get things in a actual step-by-step checklist. And then once you do that, you actually have a very refined process in how you edit. And then you can decide, okay, is editing something that is better for me to outsource? Editing was actually one of the first things that I outsourced, and I was able to outsource it effectively because I went through and I refined that process. I had a clear workflow, a clear checklist, so that my editor knew exactly what to do to get those same results. And that enabled me to free up so much time that I could devote to other areas of my business, and honestly, just to my family as well. And when you refine those systems, and not just editing, but in other things too, but when you refine those systems and workflows, and then you work to delete, automate, or delegate what you can then scale your photography business. This is how I was able to scale to 20K and beyond months. And honestly, this entire booked photographer system enabled me to build a highly successful, and business became fun again. That's what's really important. It absolutely became fun again when everything wasn't dependent on me, and I still had the time freedom to be with my kids and to actually homeschool. This system has also worked for many others as well. So this is Erin. She talks about her workflow in terms of when she receives an inquiry and how to optimize that. And so once she refined this process, she immediately received that inquiry. This is Jackie. I love this testimonial too, because Jackie joined our program and started implementing the booked photographer system in her business during her maternity leave. So she just popped out a kid. She had a few older kids as well. That's the time period that she decided to join and start implementing the system, because she didn't want to go back to another job, or to back to her day job. She worked really hard. She worked in the system. She implemented it to a T. And as you can see here, she said the best part is she doesn't have to return to her full-time job, because she was able to replace her income with her photography while she was on maternity leave, which is amazing. And she was still able to be present in her kid's life and that new baby's life. So that's an overview of the 4 parts, or the 4 steps of the booked photographer system. So what now? What are your next steps? At this point in time, you have 2 options. Option number 1 is to try to implement the booked photographer system all on your own. You're more than welcome to do that. You would obviously save money, perhaps, maybe, but you're going to spend a lot of time trying to figure out things. You might do things wrong. You have a lot of questions. You might just not move as quickly because you don't have that proven path. But that's one of the options you can take. Option number 2 is to join my community of like-minded photographers, and let me help you implement the booked photographer system in your business. Together, we will accelerate your bookings and your income to consistent five to $10,000 every single month in your business, because you're going to get everything I use, everything that has worked with success, everything that, all the testimonials that you see on this page. You're going to get access to all of that stuff. Now, if option number 1 is what you decide to do and you want to do it on your own, that's totally cool. Like, I want to wish you nothing but the absolute best. But if you prefer to have support and accountability, then I'm going to encourage you to connect with me on Instagram. Send me a DM. My handle is at Heather_Chesky. So at Heather_Chesky. DM me the word system, and then together we can chat about how to create more bookings, more income in your photography business.